Okay, as you can see on page 3, you do not need to do number 14. I already started 12a. I separated this. A lot of people, what they'll do here is they'll make the square root of 4 and square root of 8, which isn't wrong. When you get 2 square roots of 8, you just got to bring that further into square root of 4 and square root of 2, and you get 2 times 2, and of course there's an I in here, and that's how I get 4 square roots of 2. But if I just go about this way, square root of 16 is 4, square root of negative 1 is I, and square root of 2 is square root of 2. Done. Similarly, this is really square root of 25 times square root of negative 1, which is 5i minus 4. If you wrote it as negative 4 plus 5i, that would actually be proper, but I'm not going to take points off for you doing it that way. Over here, this is really a negative 1 that needs to get distributed. That's why I have the notes on the side here. This is not a FOIL problem. Not a FOIL problem. That is a FOIL problem when they're right next to each other. So I distribute that. I get 5 plus 14i minus 10 plus 2i. And I combine my like terms. If you wrote 69 minus 5, same thing. This is really a combined like terms. This is 8 plus 4i minus 7i. Combine my like terms, 8 minus 3i. Done. This is a FOIL problem. Distribute 4 out. So I got first, outside, inside, last. Now, a couple things should stand out here. I can combine these like terms, and we said I squared, we set it up here as negative 1. So I'm going to replace that with a negative 1, and negative 1 times negative 14 is positive 14. So really what I have here is 4 minus 28i plus 2i plus 14, and then combine my like terms from there. 18 minus 26i. This is just a simple multiplication problem. 4 times 8 is 32. I times I is I squared. We just got done saying we can replace that with a negative 1. And 32 times negative 1 is negative 32. Similar to how it happened here. On the previous page, just like number 11, C and D, we need to just move the C and divide if necessary, and then square root. So in this case, I subtract 80. I get negative 80 equals x squared. And I can't do any dividing here, so I just go to square root it. This is, in terms of square roots, a tough one to see, because 16 actually goes into there 5 times. So I'm going to do it the way I think you all would do it, which is 8 and 10, or excuse me, not 8 and 10, 4 and 20. And then I, of course, I'll get to that, but 20 can be split into 4 and 5. And I still got my square root of negative 1 out here. So square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of negative 1 is I. Square root of negative 5, or square root of 5 is square root of 5. And I get 4 plus or minus 4i square root of 5. Why did I do plus or minus? Because I took a square root. Over here, minus 75. And divide because I said we have to do that. And square root both sides to get x equals plus or minus 5. I, again, because this is square root of 25 times square root of negative 1. Done. Again, plus or minus. Anytime you see that exponent 2 means there should be 2 solutions. Okay. Down at the bottom, we're going to use the quadratic formula, which will again have on the board. A is 1, B is negative 3, and C is 2. I think it's important to identify that. Will you get points for it? No, but it'll help, because then it's just a matter of plugging it in. Now again, if B is negative 3, then negative 3 is positive. Negative 3 squared. I'm just plugging stuff in here. Gonna go quickly here. 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 8 is 3 plus or minus the square root of 1, which is really 3 plus or minus 1 over 2. What that means is 3 plus 1 over 2 and 3 minus 1 over 2. 4 over 2 is 2. And 2 over 2 is 1. There's my 2 answers. Okay. On this problem, again, I need it to equal 0, so I'm going to minus 9 to both sides before I can do this. A is negative 1, B is 5, C is negative 9. Plug it in. Negative 5 plus or minus the square root. 5 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times negative 9. If you did this wrong, and you did not move the 9 over and you called it positive 9, this is going to not go well for you. Because right underneath here, let's go through here, negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 25. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4 times negative 9 is negative 36. If you made that a positive, you'd probably have a plus sign right there and your number is all jacked up. Instead, I get negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 11 all over negative 2, and the only thing I can do to reduce is take a negative out of there by making it I. So negative 5 plus or minus I square roots of 11 over negative 2. That is my 2 solutions for that page. This has been the first practice test. If you have questions on this, make sure you're seeing me at lunch tomorrow on Monday.